So now that I'm done with the electricity, the last big job in the cellar is the water. So I already have water in the cellar, but there are a couple of issues. First is I prefer to have the water in the middle of the cellar, where I have the pipes here. This is the trap I use to bring stuff in the cellar, and this elbow here is a bit in the middle, so I want to flatten this area of pipes. So I will need to redo this copper line and make it run underneath the PVC pipe. The copper line will arrive here, go down here, and there I will have a sink instead of my jerry-rig sump pump. And of course I have this sump pump to get the water out of the cellar, and instead of using this flexible hose, I want to have a solid pipe in here, so I will need to plug it into this big sanitation PVC pipe. I think I want to try to plug it on the top. I have all of my elements in here, all of my things, copper side and the PVC side. So let's see how it goes. I'm pretty nervous about working with water in the cellar. It's the water for the whole house. I don't like too much working with water. Okay, so I remove the old system. I think what I want to do is trying to have a fit up without gluing anything, just testing all the connection because it's gonna be a bit tricky. It's a bit risky for my taste. I mean, drilling into this pipe because there is no turning back. But let's get some elbows and see how that can start to work at least. And let's go back down. This is the 50 millimeters to 125, but I'll have to find an adapter. And I have to be cognizant of the fact that I need to drill a hole in this pipe, so I need to have access. I can't put it more like that. Then it needs to kick a bit that way to run parallel. So maybe a couple of those 22.5. This is the other side. This is the outlet of the pump, which is supposed to go 8 meters in height, so shouldn't be an issue. I have 3 meters here. But yeah, trying to figure it out. I honestly don't know from which end to tackle this issue. So maybe I need to start and maybe put a line in here, parallel to the big pipe, and start from there. Okay, so I've put my first anchor. It didn't go very well, but it's okay. I faced the stone, so I have a flat area, but when I drilled into it, it blew off. But I have it's firmly attached, so it's okay. Polar opposite of the other one. This is a very strong stone. This will hold very well. I have a bit of space just here. Maybe it would need one in the middle, I don't know. Okay, so that could be something like this. I've procured the 40 to 50 mil adapter. I haven't cut anything to length yet, so it's a bit off. So maybe I'll use this flexible tube for some part of it, just to give me a little give. So I've placed everything. I've marked everything so I can glue it back in the right angles and positions. So not a lot of changes visually, but I have glued everything here until here. So the flexible pipe is unglued. I'm almost ready to drill into that. So I've been training on this crap, and yeah, I need to be careful not to do that on my main one. Not a good idea. On this one, I torqued the drill way low, and so it's skipping but working well. This will be very stressful. Drilling, then also cleaning with acetone and putting the I should put that almost at the beginning. Put them in place. Put so much glue in here and so much glue on the pipe. Clamping it. Screwing the clamps. So let's gather everything. Now that I can work from something. That's great. I will need all of my tools. It's stuck in there, it's glued. There is a world where I leave the clamps on it just for extra peace of mind. So now everything is glued. It looks alright. If I have a connection that is a bit suspicious, is this one, which was the last one I made. Let's put the scaffolding back in storage. So I added the last part at the bottom. Finally, it's done. The pump is centered, so I should be okay with that. It's Sunday now. I'm trying to make everything work out, and I've made an opening for the pipe, but oh. Oh. There was a bit of play, but in fact it's due to the flexible hose. Oh, I was a bit worried for a minute. Yeah, as you can see, it's a work in progress. It's a prototype, a model of what I need to build. Okay. I'm really not sure about anything. Yeah, let's try it. Okay. So it's definitely going into the pump, and I don't see water. The big question now, does the pump work? And do I have leaks everywhere? So let's get some more water. And let's plug the pump. For now, temporary connection. Okay, let's do that a couple more times. So 1.5 liter. Oh. I don't know if water is going on all the way to the top. What I'm afraid of is that it's full of water now. And yeah, it feels cold, and there are obviously water still in the column because there is a one-way valve here. So this is at once terrifying, but also if it's holding up, it's really good news, because I guess this is how the system is supposed to work. I don't see any leaks. At least that's that. Okay, so not too bad. I'm really happy about the sink. The height is quite good. It's 95 centimeters tall from the rim. I don't see any drops anywhere. This is almost the best result I could have hoped for, so not bad. Yeah. Okay, it worked really well. I think I used a bit too much. I really expected it to be more of a, I don't know. It went as well as it does on the videos online, so how often does that happen? Nice. It's Sunday, middle of the afternoon. I think I'll call it a day. A pretty productive weekend all in all. Happy with the sink. Also, what I want to do now is a 3D scan of the sink to get all the dimensions in a model to be able to design the final cabinet. Happy with this piece. It could have been a test piece if it had failed, but I think it's okay. So the goal for next weekend will be to entirely move the water and have it arrive in here. So next time, more soldering. It's Friday now, so let's try and make progress on this stuff. I guess I'll start putting the pipe on the wall and we'll see how it goes. Since copper is quite expensive, I wanted to reuse this one, so this is a 16 millimeters. I'll build everything with the copper I have, and we'll see how I end up here. And then I will have to do all of that, remove that, reuse it, and plug it into this one. So I've placed my first anchor, and now I'm trying to see in low light what it's giving me. So this is, of course, level, but since the wall is crooked that way, it isn't straight here. So I need to have the laser perpendicular to the wall. The first part is finished. Yeah, pretty happy about it. Yeah, so I put the laser, and definitely if I'm level from here, I'll end up on top, and so I think I'll start as best as I can and slowly try to be parallel. Also, I have changed my lighting at the back. Last video I said I was happy with it. I don't know, I like it. Which wasn't untrue, but maybe I was a bit trying to convince myself. I had some comments on the video speaking about the cold lighting from above and warm lighting from below. And, after a few attempts, I arrive at this. The warm glow is highlighting the vault, and the cold glow with the shadows, the shadow line here, is also highlighting the vault from behind. It shows the stairs with a gradient from cool to warm. So I've done my first solder on the ladder. Fortunately, I have stones and mortar behind, which means I don't have to be very careful with my blowtorch. Yeah, I think it's okay. I went a bit more heavy-handed on the solder. And here I did what I could. It's really tricky. And now I'll try to get parallel to the big pipe. Here it is. I think I'll stop there. And I'm arriving here. There I have 14 to 16, so I'll be able to use those. And hopefully I can reuse some of the already bended parts. So the thing I'm most worried about is if I remove this pipe, I don't have anything to stop the water coming into the cellar, and if for one reason or another this pipe isn't working, if I have leaks or anything, I would need to disconnect the cellar from the water, ideally so I can have water in the house. I'm thinking of making an end cap for the T connection. Of course I could buy one, but I really don't want to go to the store again. And I have two of those, and so why not? Why not try it? Now the idea is to cut it open in two, along the length, flatten it, make a disc, and solder it inside. And I'll try using those snips, see if it's enough. Okay, and now files. Okay, I don't think it turned out too bad. So this is the day I intend to finish this project, and we'll see if I was right to be nervous about it. I've cut water from the house and from the street, so in theory I can empty the water left in the pipes. Yeah, I just want to test that I can really cut the water. So the faucet is fully opened and no water is coming out. Okay, so no dramas. Water in the bucket. I thought this would have like a flat area, but as you can see it's a bit conical, and it's supposed to go on this conical part here, metal to metal I guess, which is strange, but it worked for 3-4 years, so I won't question it. I have some seals that could work. I'll test my cap, see if my cap is sealing or not. Yeah, so it's leaking a bit, but definitely manageable. Still really frightening is to try and clock the connection this way and find half a turn somewhere in all those parts. But do I even have the tools to do that? Just isn't enough. Should do the trick. Okay, so now the same thing here. Okay. Let's tighten everything. Okay, and we'll see if I have leaks now on those points. Okay, no. This was so stressful. But I think I've managed to get everything I needed. I'll leave that a bit and we'll see if I have any more leaks. Hopefully no. And I'll have to use this, which wasn't the plan, but things about plans and everything. Okay. So I think I have a plan. It's not easy to bend, I don't have the right equipment. This is more like a 45 degrees. I don't want to go to store. Okay, so I have some fittings for the 16 millimeters. I think I'll cut it before the 90 elbow and use some 45s. I'll keep that. I haven't found something similar in the store. Okay, I think I have something not too bad. And then the 45, and I have some give here, and I have also some give with polypropylene. I should be okay. Okay, so I'll leave that a minute to cool. Yeah, but not crazily either. Okay, let's put the water back on. I've been able to understand a bit more about this. This is pushing against this, and this surface is pushing against another conical surface here. So the reason it's not thinning anymore could be because there is some scratches or gouges. We can see there is one here. It could be a misalignment also, so this should offer a couple of degrees of freedom to seal, but since it's spherically shaped. But maybe it's not enough, I don't know, maybe I should have soldered everything and started from there, since it's so constrained. What I'll do now is I'll try to clean that very, very well. I have some Scotch-Brite, really fine sandpaper, 240 and 600. And if it's not doing the trick, I will cut it here. And hopefully I can have enough to buy the same, replace this one. So it's looking way better. I think I'll cut the water, remove my cap, and try to do the same thing to the inside surface. And after that, we'll try our luck again. I have the new fitting, so brand new. It shouldn't leak. Same idea. I guess I still want to try this because it gives us a few degrees of freedom. I think that's why it was used on top. Okay, so no leaks with the new connection piece here. So I have this. I have put a bit of the paste. Okay. I'm low on battery. It's 5 now. If this doesn't work, I'll sell the cellar, I'll sell the house, and I'll quit. Oh. 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 Oh, the relief. I think I'm okay. And I have water in this cellar. one thing I need to do for a long time is sorting this stuff. The soft ducts are not working well, and I was again a bit stupid. This kind of elbow was full with water. I want to have some kind of structure like this, where the air is coming from here, and I have this maybe canted at a bit of an angle, so if there is water coming here, it's settled at the bottom of this and I can retrieve it at the end. So I have two of those planned, one for the poop cellar, which is 100 millimeters, and one for the crawl space, which is 125. I don't have the space to do that with plenum at this position. So what I need to do is move the plenum really close to the fan, closest I can. Then it hopefully will give me the space to put my system in here. I've been able to move my plenum, so it's way closer now to the fan, which is great. The two flanges are touching. I've been able to do the hard pipe on the ventilation for the poop cellar. I didn't glue the PVC because I don't have issue with water in this pipe, since it's not getting air that is warmer than the cellar. So I'm done in here, it's looking a bit better, I think. I'm hanging those on the ceiling because it's quite a bit of weight, and also I didn't have the length of hard pipe and it's not exactly perfectly straight, so I have this baffle in the middle. That's what's making the seal. In here it's okay because I have the tube a long way in the duct, but in here I've tried to put the collar really close to the neck of the tube, so we'll see how it fares. The water will collect at the bottom and I will be able to retrieve it. I have space enough to have a bucket in here, so should be nice, should be way better. So this is the rainy season right now, sort of. That's what happened when we have a couple days of strong rain. It's all leaking through the ground and it's raining in the poop cellar. So in the meantime, I've received things that will help. So those are my new dehumidifiers. This one will go here and be for the cellar in general, and this one will go in the poop cellar, and hopefully it will help me with those kind of issues. I chose this one because it's supposed to work on cold temperature. Those are condensation dehumidifiers, so I have to get rid of the water. So this one will be here, it goes there on the bottom entrance of the pump, and the other one will go there, and I should have enough slope to make it arrive at the same point. Okay, job done. So maybe it's a bit too high, but I wanted to be really clear of it and for it not to be in the way of what I'll do here in the future. It's okay, I'm starting to like this area, this technical area. I don't know if this is bad taste or bad practice, but it seemed logical to use copper line as a support, and I think it makes sense. And it's not too ugly, the exterior. So yeah, I'll forget it very quickly. Alright, so it is installed. Not as strongly as I would have hoped, but the stones here are a bit tricky, and especially this one I needed it to be as high as possible, so I didn't have a lot of choice. It's not exactly level either, but I don't think it's an issue. And as for the line, I did my best. I put the laser at a canted angle. I have a bit of drop, so it will be okay. I need to remove the sink, remove the pump, and work out how the different tubes will be collecting to the sump pump. I'm working on a few things in the same time, so this old thing is gonna go. So I'm betting all on this now. I'll try to plug a tube like this. So I've been working on the sump pump. I have a new cable which will go inside the housing. I've made this kind of collector, but the hoses will get into here and get all of the condensation from the dehumidifier and these things, which is a bit like a dehumidifier, removing the humidity of the warm air here by cooling it inside the pipe. So it's not looking as good as I intended, but this hose is really kinked. So it's working. Let's hope everything is going to work. I thought I could have a calm day today, but when I arrived there was a big puddle of water in here, and it was just this collar that wasn't tightened enough. So since it's at the bottom of the pump, any water in the pump could leak from here. That's why I have to have a riser here. So that's taken care of now, but more problematic is this one. So it appeared to have worked during the night, but I have a slight issue of the dehumidifier dripping water, which I don't know, doesn't seem like something it should do. Is it because it's not exactly level? And that could be it. I guess my issue is the level of the thing. Okay, so I just put another hole in the plank. And now it's way better. Yeah, it's level now, so no excuses. I'll re-zip tie those, and I think I'll let it run and see if the issue arises. But hopefully that was only that. And now I want to try and work on this, which is not really great. So I bought those elbows again, 90s, and I work that out and try to tidy this, which is really not appealing. So not perfect, but I think it's way better. I'm alright with that. It looks okay. And the slope now is a bit better for this one, which I hope won't cause me too much issues. Like here I have some standing water, but I mean, I think those tubes will be okay long term, since there is no UVs inside. Yeah, so it's been about 3 weeks of work, 3 weekends worth of work, pretty intense work. The first part was on the hard pipe and the sink. Second weekend I spent it on the copper pipe and the engine room, and this weekend I worked on the dehumidifiers and making sure all of the rest was finally working, correcting some mistakes and leaks here and there. So I guess this is the end of the old Cellar playlist, the old Cellar restoration part of this whole project. I now have a practical space, a functional space I can do what I want with. Now looking at furnishing and building my workshop, and I don't know what form it would take on this channel. Either I'll do some quick updates or I'll do some full builds. I really don't know. I started this project 8 years ago. I had 2 years off, but yeah, I think I'm at the end now, so it's really... So thank you guys if you have stayed with me for this long. I don't think a lot of you have, but for those couple of you who were there from the beginning, I really wanted to thank you and thank everyone who has ever commented or interacted with me in some way. I really appreciated it. Even though the channel hasn't reached any importance whatsoever, I'm really glad I did it. As I said in the first video, it was also about documenting the process. Yeah, I'm glad I did it and that there is a trace of what I did here in the cellar, mostly by myself. So for now, this is goodbye, and we'll see what happens next.